I am Kiara Sudin, and for my chosen skill on this activity is fencing. So today, I will be demonstrate the basic movement of fencing. But unfortunately, I have no proper attire for this particular sport and also the foil. I am using an harness to assume as foil. Now, there's a four basic fundamental of fencing that I will demonstrate. First, on guard. A call to a fencer to adopt a defensive stance in readiness for an attack, used to warn one's opponent to take a defensive position prior to a fight. Second, advance. Taking a step forward towards one's opponent. Third, the retreat. It is the footwork movement that fencers use to move backward. And last, the lunge, an explosive extension of the fencer's body propelled by the non-dominant leg in which the dominant leg is kicked forward. Now, let's combine the basic four fundamental of fencing. In addition, in fencing, there are particular involved muscles, joints, bones, etc. First, we have the muscle, which is quadriceps femoris muscle, the main work of the lunge, provide much of the force of the back leg. Second, we have the calves muscle that help the speed and explosiveness of the lunge. They help set off the lunge and then when recovering. Next, we have the anterior tibialis muscle. The body weight is put on this muscle when a fencer lunges. Next, we have also an arm string muscle that helps speed and recovery. Also, we have gluteus muscle that hold thighs and quads in help during lunges or recovery. And lastly, we have the muscles of shoulder, biceps, triceps, forearm muscle that hold and extend the back. Next, we have also the joints and bones that consist lower limb and upper limb, which is the following: hip, knee and foot joints, shoulder, elbow, regional nar, and wrist joints. Next, we have also the plane of motion, which is in fencing sagittal. And lastly, the direction. Fencers remain facing the direction of their opponent and are not to leave. To score a point or touch by hitting your opponent's target with your weapon before they get the scoring touch on you. Well, that's all the overall demonstration of the basic fundamental of fencing. Thank you.
Hi, I am Joseph John D. Fabrica. Today, I will demonstrate the three methods of serving in volleyball. Since we don't have a ball, let's assume that we have an imaginary ball. And now let's proceed with overhand serve. An overhand serve that provides more momentum and control than an underhand serve. Step 1. Line up both your feet about shoulder length apart. Place your non-dominant foot ahead of your dominant foot. Your shoulders and hips should be aligned with the net. Step 2. Place your non-dominant hand directly in front of you. Almost complete straight but with a flexible elbow and palm up with the ball in it. Step 3. Swing your serving arm back next to your head. Make sure that your elbow is pointing upwards and your hand is at or slightly above your ear. Step 4. Toast the ball up with your palm of your left hand, not fingers, about 12 to 18 inches, 30 to 45 centimeter in the air. Remember that you want your dominant hand to make contact with the ball just after after it changes directions and begins to drop back down. Swing your dominant arm back at the same time, keeping your wrist rigid. For the second method, which is stop spin jump serve. Step 1. Forward with your dominant foot. Step 2. As you step forward, throw the ball high into air and slightly forward with your dominant hand. Again, start with your arm directly in front of you. Palm up with the ball in your palm. Step 3. Take 3 of your quick steps forward. You'll need to be fast to get to where the ball is going to fall. How many steps you choose is up to you. Practice a few times to see what feels most comfortable. Step 4. On your last step forward, launch yourself into a jump. Use the momentum from the steps above to get higher in the air. Step 5. As you jump with the back your dominant arm, as with the basic overhand, your elbow should be pointing upward with your wrist rigid and or slightly above your ear. And now let's proceed with step 6, in the ball. At the highest point of your jump, strike the ball with the feel of your hand or the bottom of your palm for maximum force. And now let's proceed the last method, which is jump flood serve. Step 1. Start with the ball in both hands, straight in front of you. Hold the ball between both arms. Keep your elbows straight, but somewhat loose. Step 2. Step forward with your dominant foot. Step 3. Take a 3-step approach after first step. You'll take 3 quick steps in your approach. Start with your non-dominant foot. Step 4. On the last step of your approach, throw the ball upward and slightly forward. For a float, you only want to throw it 12 to 18 inches or 30 to 45 centimeter. And now, the last step 6 is hit the ball with your feel of your dominant hand. As with the basic overhand serve, your elbow should be pointing upward and your wrist should be rigid and or slightly above your ear. Okay. And now let's proceed the classification of muscles, bones, joints, plane of motions, and direction in volleyball. And now, let's proceed with the muscles. There are 3 muscles involved in volleyball, which are upper legs and hips, gluteals, hamstring, and quadriceps. For bones, femur, fibula, tibia, tarsals, metatarsals, phalanges, lumbar region, sacrum scapula, thoracic and cervical regions, and humerus. For joints, upper body joints, plane of motions, sagittal planes. For directions, each team wins a point or before they start, the serving team rotates clockwise and the ball is floating serve. That's all the overall demonstration in volleyball. Thank you.
Panhandle. There should be a B between the thumb and index finger. There should also be a gap between the index and middle finger, and the palm should be flat on the front of the racket. The grip is known as panhandle as it is similar to holding a frying pan. The panhandle grip is used specifically for the forehand net kill. It allows you to negotiate the shuttlecock when it is a little above and very close to the net. Serving. A badminton serve must be hit underarm and below the server's waist height. The wool of the shuttle should be below 1.15 meters from the surface of the court. In a badminton, the serve must be hit in an upwards direction with an underarm hitting action. You are not allowed to play a tennis-style serve. The main rule here is that when you hit the shuttle, it must be below your waist. To be exact, the rules define this to be a height level with the lowest part of your rib cage.
Bending, a motion or action that bends, a bending of the knees, an instance of something being adapted or distorted, bendings of the rules. The muscles involved in doing a bending is a flexor muscles, attached to the front of the spine. These muscles include the abdominal muscles. They allow us to flex, bend forward, lift, and arc the lower back. When the abdominal muscles are weak, the muscles that allows us to bend at the hip get tighter, increasing the curve at the lower back. The joints that involved in doing bending is hinge joints. Hinge joints such as in the fingers, knees, elbows, and toes allow only bending and straightening movements. Bending.
So I choose baseball. The skills is baseball swing. The muscle involved is hip flexors, hip rotators cuff musculator, deltoids, lats, pectoral muscles, quads, glutes, and hamstrings. And the bones and joints are wrist, ball shoulders, ball socket, shoulders, and backbone, vertebra, wrist, carp- carpals. The plane motion is transverse plane. When talking about the baseball or softball swing, there are a few things that we find vital to focus on in order to ensure consistency and success with it relates to the way the bat itself moves. For example, this video.
Skills. Volleyball. Outside hitter. The outside hitter is also known as the left side hitter, and it's the lead attacker in the offensive strategy. To be to be a successful outsider hitter, you must be able to jump high, be quick on your feet, and be ready to adapt to different situations. Muscles. Bicep, femoris, gluteus maximus, erector spinae group, trapezius, and posterior deltoids. Bones, carpals and phalanges. Short bones in the hand, going up to the arm, to the radius and ulna, a long bones being the humerus connecting up to the shoulder. Joints, upper body joints and lower body joints. Directions. You rotate in volleyball counterclockwise. The person in a front right shift to the right back and takes over as the new server if your team scores the point while the other team is serving. You do not rotate if your team scores a point while serving. Instead, you remain in the same spot.